I feel it's my duty to warn you whenever there's anything out there that might be dangerous to you, like, for instance, weather or a tornado or something like that. So as you're driving around Columbus, and remember, Columbus is a very democratic town. Those of you who are not Democrat, if you're on 270, if you're at a high rate of speed, if you're trying to pass somebody, you should probably be aware that there's a better than average chance. What do we think we are? 60-40 here in Columbus, Democrat to Republican? Maybe 70-30. There's a very good chance the Democrat you were passing does not have a rearview mirror in their vehicle. I just thought you should know that because it became apparent to me today while watching the confirmation hearings of Pete Hegseth on Capitol Hill as Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense. Hi, I'm Bruce Hooley. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. We start with a little snark, and we start with audio from Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing, where what was the word yesterday? Democrats they weren't grumpy, they weren't frumpy, they were I forget what they were, but here's pretty much what they are. Here's the Democratic shrew Kirsten Gillibrand. Pete Hegseth must really want to be Secretary of Defense because I don't know. I wouldn't appreciate being treated like this.
Only in the infantry. Lethal.
Oh, how?
But not in the military, especially in combat units. So specific to Senator Cotton's question, because Senator Cotton was giving you layups to differentiate between different types of combat. And specifically, as secretary, would you take any action to reinstitute the combat arms exclusion for female service members?
Enough of Kirsten Gillibrand. Tom Cotton's layup was to point out that body armor and other equipment that soldiers wear in combat weighs about 100 pounds a person. And so he was saying, when Pete Hegseth says, I have questions, or even when he says, I don't think women ought to serve on forward combat duty, that how many women, now I know, a couple of LA firefighters at the top of the, managerial chain there could handle it, but how many women can handle 100 pounds of gear in combat? That's all Pete Hegseth is saying. All right. Before Kirsten Gillibrand got the floor, before other Democrats got the floor, Pete Hegseth had a chance to make an opening statement, and I didn't want you to miss this part of his opening statement.
And as Jenny and I pray together every morning, glory, regardless of the outcome, belongs to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. His grace and mercy abounds each day. May his will be done.
Okay, that's a great way to begin for someone who said they're a changed man because of Christ's redemption in their life. That's great. Why do I say you have to be careful on the interstates in and around Columbus, 270, 70, 71? Because Democrats don't have rearview mirrors in their car. Because of what happened after that. What happened after that? In the first 5 minutes of Pete Hegseth's opening statement, he was interrupted 3 times by hecklers from the audience. 3 times. Okay, what does this tell us? It tells us Democrats don't have a rearview mirror, because Pete Hegseth is among the most controversial Trump nominees, right? He's like me, a lot of us in public positions. Everything we've ever said is preserved somewhere on a radio website. In Pete Hegseth's situation, it's on podcasts, it's on Fox and Friends, it's in archives, everything he's ever said, okay? Off the cuff, joking around, whatever, it's out there, all right? So Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. are Trump's 3 most controversial nominees. Democrats are probably, at most, going to be able to get rid of one of them. They have 53 senators on the Republican side. So you only have to capture 3 if you unite all your Democrats, and Fetterman's a wild card, to get rid of Pete Hegseth as a nominee. Okay. What is the best way to do that? The best way to do that would probably be to point out all the things you can find that he said that are controversial. The way not to do that is to object to him in such a way that you really, really anger MAGA enthusiasts. And the way you really, really anger MAGA enthusiasts is to have some nutcase in the back of a Senate hearing get up and scream at Pete Hegseth. Not just once, but twice, but 3 times. Because I really hate giving aid and comfort to the enemy here. But Dems, if you want to capture Lisa Murkowski, if you want to capture Susan Collins, if you want to capture Mitch McConnell and do away with Pete Hegseth, that is not the way to do it. That is not the way to do it. It is to speak in measured tones. It is to object to him on matters of substance, because otherwise Pete Hegseth is going to make a lot of friends saying things like this.
We will work with our partners and allies to deter aggression in the Indo-Pacific and the Communist Chinese. And finally, we will responsibly end wars to ensure that we prioritize our resources to reorient to larger threats. We can no longer count on reputational deterrence. We need real deterrence. The Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals, will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional.
That's pretty good. Pete Hegseth, skilled communicator. Going to be hard to get rid of him. The way not to get rid of him is to interrupt him while he's talking. Here we go with nutcase number 1.
And to all the troops and veterans watching and here in the room, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, soldiers, pilots, sailors, Marines, Gold Stars, and more, too many friends to name. Officers, enlisted, black and white, young and old, men and women, all Americans, all warriors. This hearing is for you. Thank you for figuratively and literally having my back.
Here we go.
You are a misogynist.
Oh.
Not only that, you are a Christian Zionist.
Yeah, you're a misogynist. Not only that, you are a Christian Zionist. That guy didn't sound to me like a veteran. I'm just saying, he didn't sound like a veteran. So Roger Wicker, the head of the committee, interrupted. Hey, if you do this again, you're going to be interrupted. And it was about 5 seconds later that this happened.
On meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness.
Here we go. Another nutcase. And no, that was not AOC, but an AOC wannabe. So we got the stern warning from Roger Wicker, and yet we weren't done yet.
Mr. Hegseth, suspend your remarks. Let me just say this. The Capitol Police are going to remove immediately individuals that are disrupting the hearing. I see a pattern attempted to be inflicted on the committee, and we're simply not going to tolerate that. You may proceed.
To bring back warfighting, if confirmed, I'm going to work with President Trump and this committee to, 1, restore the warrior ethos to the Pentagon and throughout our fighting force. In doing so, we will reestablish trust in our military, addressing the recruiting crisis, the retention crisis, and readiness crisis in our ranks.
that members of the security force will remove members.
So there you go. No rear view mirrors, because how did lawfare work out for the Democrats on Donald Trump? How did saying that J.D. Vance was weird work out for Democrats? They never learn. Of course not. Because as we see in California with the wildfires, as we see with gas prices, inflation, Afghanistan, Russia, Ukraine, their policies don't work because they are moronic. They never change. Nobody ever gets fired. Failure is rewarded. No rearview mirrors in the Democratic Party.
And a bit of snow at times this afternoon. Little to no accumulation. It'll be a breezy day. High 50, partly cloudy, very cold night tonight. Low down to 7. Clouds and sun. Cold tomorrow. The high 21. Clouds and chilly on Thursday. A couple of flurries. Breezy afternoon. The high at 29. Partly sunny for Friday and the high at 39. For Saturday, cloudy rain or maybe a snow shower possible. The high Saturday at 39. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Okay, every new year we all spend a few days seriously thinking about what we can do to improve our lives. Usually it revolves around better health, right? I want to strongly encourage you to do what I do. Take responsibility for your health by taking Balance of Nature's whole food ingredient supplements. Seriously, they're packed with 31 varieties of fruits and vegetable ingredients, from tomatoes to sweet potatoes and just about everything in between. This is a resolution you can truly keep all year long, like I do. This is your last time to put it off, because today you can become a preferred customer at Balance of Nature. Discount code MikeG to get 35% off, free shipping, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. This is an unbelievable limited New Year's promotion. You got to use the discount code MikeG. Call 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use the discount code MikeG or order online at balanceofnature.com. Balanceofnature.com. Use the discount code MikeG to get 35% off, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Balance of Nature.
You know, the new year is a great time to reconsider how we do things, like how to make things better in 2025. Like when it comes to the whole struggle of how to pay for your health care, people generally are not happy with the status quo. But there's good news. There's a much better option, and it's proven too. MediShare is refreshing. You can save thousands of dollars a year. Many save up to $500 a month, seriously. And you get to choose from a huge network of doctors and providers. And maybe the best part, and we know this from research on why people join MediShare, they love this. Instead of sending your money every month to a huge corporation that might fund all sorts of procedures or things you don't believe in, you're joining a faith-based network of people who actually care about each other. And like I said, that's refreshing. There is a better option. You don't have to do it the way you've always done it. You can make a change and start saving now. Here's the number. They're easy to talk to.
Hi, I'm Larry Elder, and I'm inviting you to join Mike Gallagher, Jennifer Horn, Joe Piscopo, and me for the Patriots Alaska Cruise, a once-in-a-lifetime trip where patriotism and luxury meet. Picture this. You cruising through Alaska's stunning wilderness on a first-class luxury ship, surrounded by breathtaking glaciers and majestic mountains. But that's just the beginning. As we sail in August through the last frontier, you'll enjoy thought-provoking talks, exclusive events, and unforgettable memories with fellow patriots who share your values. Visit travelwithsalem.com to secure your spot. This is more than just a cruise. It's a chance to engage with some of the most respected voices in conservative America while exploring one of the most beautiful places on earth. Space is filling up quickly, so don't wait. Secure your spot today for the Patriots Alaska Cruise with travelwithsalem.com. That's travelwithsalem.com. Or call 855-565-5519. That's 855-565-5519. I'll see you on board where patriotism, adventure, and luxury come together.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
I know what's up. Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
McCarthy.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, where families find answers.
Well, if your marriage could use a shot in the arm or someplace else, we have the Focus on the Family Salem Media Group Resist the Drift Marriage Conference coming up in the middle of February. You say, Well, isn't that right around Valentine's Day? Yes, it is. What better time to rekindle your marriage than around Valentine's Day? And what better place than Genoa Church in Westerville? Now, you can go to 989theanswer.com and find out more about this awesome event that will feature Dr. Greg and Aaron Smalley. They will share their own personal story and what they've learned, which they say allows them to has moved them from roommates back to soulmates. Couples will receive Bible-based concepts and tools to reconnect and strengthen their marriages. A general admission ticket gets you 4 sessions with the Smalleys and a conference workbook. The premium experience ticket gets you the same 4 sessions, the workbook, a private Q&A session with the leaders of the conference, a continental breakfast, and a gift. Get your tickets at 989theanswer.com. Well, we have Jack Smith treating Donald Trump like the chew toy that a pit bull just cannot let go of after midnight last night. Jack Smith, who was illegally appointed as a special prosecutor in the supposed election. Well, no, this was the classified documents case. Jack Smith was illegally appointed. Thus, Judge Eileen Cannon negated his appointment, which therefore made his case unprosecutable. And then Jack Smith had a case before a friendly judge in Washington, D.C. on election interference, Tanya Chutkan, an Obama appointee. And that went away when Trump won the election. But Jack Smith, who was, again, illegally appointed and who had no case because Trump won the election and he can't prosecute a president, I'm curious, why would he be allowed to issue a report for a case that doesn't exist? Because he's a Democrat and Merrick Garland is a Democrat and Merrick Garland runs the Department of Justice. That's why. So last night at midnight, Jack Smith's report, which again was for a case that doesn't exist and can't be prosecuted, was illegally put together in the first place. Jack Smith's report was released. The first of 2, I don't know if the second one will be released or not. But Jack Smith basically said Trump got off not because he was innocent, but because the voters elected him president. Now, call me crazy, but if the majority of the voting electorate actually thought Donald Trump was guilty of anything, whether it was not stewarding classified documents in the right way, trying to steal the election, operating a racketeering case in Atlanta, Georgia, or actually committing the sexual assault that he was found guilty of in New York and forced to pay crazy damages to a Looney Tune E. Jean Carroll. If the voters actually thought Donald Trump was guilty of anything, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that he would not have been elected president. But as you all know, he was elected president, won every swing state, won the popular vote. And so Jack Smith is steamed, and Jack Smith is going to try to exact his pound of flesh before, if I were Jack, I'd get out of the country because, though I've never been audited by the IRS, I would presume not be that pleasant of an experience. And if you say, hey, that's weaponization of the Justice Department, if they audit Jack Smith, yeah, tell it to all the Tea Party people. I'm sure they'll play the world's smallest violin for you. Now, one of the things that's really interesting, and I noticed this, and Andy McCarthy of National Review and Fox News noticed this, Donald Trump was not the only person charged by Jack Smith. There were other people who were charged who were not elected president of the United States on November the 5th. So, if Jack Smith is right in saying that, you know, Donald Trump's really guilty, but he got off only because he was elected president, why wouldn't you prosecute the other people in the case? It's a really good question. Maybe Andy McCarthy has an answer to that for us.
In describing how strong he thought his case was, Smith goes into elaborate detail about these different schemes, the pressure on the state election officials and legislators, the pressure on members of Congress, the pressure on Mike Pence, the vice president then, and so on. In each of those schemes, there are people who are, we now know, of course, that they are lawyers. They're, because the Justice Department rules, they're not named in the indictment, but we know who they are. They're closely scheming with Trump and doing most of the legwork in each of these schemes as Smith describes them. Yet it's not, you know, he goes on to say we couldn't charge because, you know, Trump became president and we have these rules that you can't indict or prosecute a sitting president. None of those other people are government officials. None of them had immunity.
Maybe Jack's case wasn't as strong as he said it was. What? Jack Smith lying? I know. Hard for you to believe, hard for me to believe when we put such faith and trust in our federal officials, particularly the ones who work for our Department of Justice. Now, yesterday also, besides Jack Smith chewing on his Donald Trump derangement syndrome, David Weiss apparently has found religion. David Weiss was the state attorney for the state of Delaware who originally didn't want to prosecute Hunter Biden at all and let a lot of charges against Hunter Biden go unprosecuted just by letting the statute of limitations expire. And then when David Weiss's sweetheart plea deal with Hunter Biden, which would have done essentially what Joe Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden has done, which is absolve him of all crimes, when that was found out by a judge, David Weiss had to like tuck his tail between his legs and say, yeah, it does absolve him of future crimes that we might not have articulated in this indictment. And then Joe Biden got mad, and Joe Biden said, no reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. Well, you can imagine how that played with David Weiss, who had like looked the other way. It's nothing to see here. I know tax evasion. I know lying on a federal gun form. I know taking millions from foreign entities, enemies of the United States. Poor David Weiss had looked the other way for years and years and years on the crimes of Hunter Biden, only to have Joe Biden do what Nancy Pelosi later would do to Joe Biden, which is plunge a knife between David Weiss's shoulder blades. So David Weiss found religion. And he issued a report yesterday after Hunter Biden was absolved of all his crimes by Joe Biden's pardon. And here's what David Weiss said. Other presidents have pardoned family members, but in doing so, none have taken the occasion as an opportunity to malign the public servants at the Department of Justice based solely on false accusations. And you find this as funny as I did? You find it as funny as Andy McCarthy did?
Until he got religion at the end. The problem here wasn't selective prosecution. It was selective favorable treatment. That Weiss was the chief person who gave to Hunter Biden for years in this investigation to the point of sitting on his hands while the statute of limitations ate a lot of his cases. When the sweetheart plea blew up and he was humiliated, then he turned around and prosecuted the president's son. But that case should have been brought years before.
Indeed, it should. Now, as I said yesterday at the outset of the show, when we began at 11 a.m., we were 1 week and 1 hour from the inauguration of Donald Trump. We're all looking forward to that on Monday at noon. But what will become of Joe Biden? I think, based upon the quote I just read you about Hunter Biden, that Joe Biden has another job lined up. And I have further proof of that, and I will share it with you next on the Bruce Hooley Show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. He calls himself a change agent. Senate confirmation hearings underway for President-elect Trump's defense secretary nominee, Pete Hegseth. Hegseth vows to foster what he calls a warrior culture at the Pentagon. Fears that the progress made in battling the Southern California wildfires could be reversed by a resurgence of the vicious Santa Ana winds. The fires have already claimed at least 24 lives, destroyed thousands of structures, including many homes.
Anybody know why laptops are plugged in and won't charge?
That his team stood up for the rule of law.
Power mode is on, battery saver, best battery life.
Tried to overturn the 2020 election. Overnight, the Justice Department released Smith's report. Trump dismisses as bogus and Smith as deranged. On Wall Street, the Dow trading 20 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Making America great again starts with making America healthy again. You know, I lost over 50 pounds on the PhD weight loss and nutrition program. Nearly 3 years later, I kept it off. You know why? Because I trusted Dr. Ashley Lucas and the terrific team at PhD Weight Loss. They've been making America healthy for over 10 years. Millions are being spent on weight loss injections that have harmful side effects and lifelong dependency. Do what I did. Take the natural approach that isn't connected to Big Pharma's bottom line. Based on science and nutrition, a proven roadmap that has helped over 8,000 clients lose weight and keep it off. You'll learn how to quiet the cravings, finally release that unhealthy belly fat. You won't be hungry, and you're never going to be taking a medication. How many pounds do you want to lose in 2025? PhD Weight Loss, leading the charge to make America healthy again. Text the word healthy to 717767. Just text the word healthy to 717767 or visit myphdweightloss.com.
Resist the Drift Marriage Conference is coming to Genoa Church on February 14th and 15th. Help you and your spouse feel more like soulmates again. Join Focus on the Family and 98.9 FM The Answer by registering now at resistthedrift.com.
Making America great again starts with making America healthy again. You know, I lost over 50 pounds on the PhD weight loss and nutrition program. Nearly 3 years later, I kept it off. You know why? Because I trusted Dr. Ashley Lucas and the terrific team at PhD Weight Loss. They've been making America healthy for over 10 years.
Is plugged in. I don't understand why you say you're not plugged in. You are plugged in and you worked once, but you don't work now, and I don't get it.
Based on science and nutrition, proven roadmap that has helped over 8,000 lose weight and keep it off. You'll learn how to quiet the cravings, finally release that unhealthy belly fat. You won't be hungry, and you're never going to be taking a medication. How many pounds do you want to lose in 2025? PhD Weight Loss, leading the charge to make America healthy again. Text the word healthy to 717767. Just text the word
That's good news.
to
It's charging. Guess I didn't have it plugged in tight enough.
myphdweightloss.com. myphdweightloss.com.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think it is America's fastest growing TV network. Is that possible? Is it growing faster than, like, I don't know, 1,000 other TV channels? No, can't possibly be true.
Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Looking for new carpet, looking for new flooring, looking to get a fresh look in your home and replace that stuff that you thought, hey, we'll get rid of this in the first year after we moved in here. And now, if you're like my wife and I, one day we looked and we said, you know, we've been here 20 years and we never replaced that carpet. And we're like, okay, it's time. So if you want new carpet, if you would like the latest, hottest styles in luxury vinyl plank flooring, it can look like tile, it can look like wood, it can be gray, it can be brown, it can be any shade in between. It's waterproof, it's durable. Man, we've got it, and I would love to help you with it. Go to brucehooley.com and click on flooring. Then what will happen? Well, you will get contacted by me. I promise it will actually be me. And then I will come to your house and I will measure your space and we'll chat and we'll talk. And I'll tell you that we have all the major brands and we can get it in faster and explain to you why you'll save money. BruceHooley.com flooring, BruceHooley.com flooring. I know Joe Biden looks frail. I know it appears that he has exhausted his usefulness to mankind as he approaches, was he 85 now? He approaches his final days in office at the White House. But you know he's got a cozy deal going on with an Ivy League school, right? The University of Pennsylvania, they're in the Ivy League. They got the Penn Biden Center at the Ivy League. And I think Joe Biden has another job lined up after he leaves the White House. You might have thought, because he was on vacation for like 575 days while he was president of the United States. 575 days. 500. And say, wait, how many days are in a year, Bruce? 365. Isn't 570 more than 365? Yes, it is, considerably more. Does that mean he was on vacation for a year and a half while he was president? It does. And we should thank the good Lord above for that, because think of the damage he could have done to our country had he actually been working while he was on vacation. I mean, he did enough damage in the 2.5 years while he was theoretically working. But I don't think he's ready to retire yet, because I listened to Joe Biden yesterday at the State Department. And you tell me, listen closely, you tell me if these statements do not qualify him for a certain role at the University of Pennsylvania or any other university where he might be inclined to lend his talents.
Our nation had become stronger at home, are stronger in the world. And now America is more capable, and I would argue better prepared than we've been in a long, long time. And over the next administration, that's where we're handing it to. Even so, it's clear. My administration is leaving the next administration with a very strong hand to play.
Okay, did you get all those? Three cuts. Kamala and I have left America stronger at home than when we came into office. America is more capable than it has been in a long time. And the last one escaped me. I was too busy writing down number 2. Okay, so now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, so you say that qualifies him for a job at the University of Pennsylvania. What job is it? No, it's not clown in the student union, although good guess. I think he's eminently qualified. In fact, he might even have enough credentials to lead the Department of Revisionist History. Don't you think? I mean, he's got a PhD in revisionist history. Clearly, the man's not listed that. I mean, he was the smartest guy. He told us years ago when he was running for president the first time, when we actually had a media that would call you out on your lies, that he was number 1 in his law school, which was a lie. But, you know, if he said, I am the most renowned revisionist history professor in the entire world, I don't think I could doubt it, particularly after I heard him say this yesterday.
Look, let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down. Number 2, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents. And guess what? He's on the phone saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Make me look bad.
When I became president, the numbers on the border went way down. Is that your experience with the numbers on the border? That's not my experience with the numbers on the border. That's not CBP's experience. That's not ICE's experience. That's no one's experience but Joseph Robinette Biden, the honorable head of revisionist history at the University of Pennsylvania. And as for his contention that America is more capable now than it's been in a long, long time, you say, well, wait a second, this sounds an awful lot like something that you played yesterday, Bruce, from Jake Sullivan, his national security advisor. And, you know, maybe Jake Sullivan heard it from Joe Biden, or maybe Joe Biden heard it from Jake Sullivan. In case you forgot what that was, give a listen to the guy who said less than 2 weeks before October the 7th, when Hamas went in and slaughtered 1,000 Jews and took 200 or more, 200 plus hostage, Jake Sullivan said, the Middle East has never been more peaceful. Is it any surprise then that here's Joe Biden's assistant in revisionist history at the University of Pennsylvania, or at least auditioning for it, Jake Sullivan on with Jake Tapper Sunday.
Administration across the globe, could you point and say the United States is safer because of what we did here?
Well, I'd start by saying our alliances are stronger than we found them 4 years ago. They're stronger than they've been in decades. NATO is more powerful, purposeful, and bigger. Our alliances in the Asia Pacific are at all-time highs. And our adversaries and competitors are weaker across the board. Russia's weaker, Iran's weaker, China is weaker. And all the while, we kept America out of war. So I think the American people are safer, and the country is better off than we were 4 years ago. And we're handing all that off to the next team, as well as having the engines of American power humming our economy.
Okay, enough. Let me explain how when Jake Sullivan and Joe Biden, and I've heard Kamala Harris say this too, that our alliances, we are safer because our alliances around the world are stronger. Okay. The first part of that is categorically false. We know this because Ukraine, Russia, Middle East, Houthis, shipping lanes in the Red Sea, Chris Wray in front of Congress, Islamic terrorism, New Orleans. We are not safer. And you know how we know we're not safer? Because of the second part of the statement. He says we are safer, they all say, Biden, Harris, Sullivan. We're safer because our alliances around the world are stronger. Why are our alliances around the world stronger? Because we need our alliances to be stronger. Wait. Why do we need our alliances to be stronger? Because we are not safer. Do you know, can you guess, if you didn't take revisionist history, if you took real history while you were in school? If I were to ask you off the top of your head, when was the United States in its strongest alliance in history with Russia? Did that ever happen? I mean, like, we've been enemies, Cold War, tear down this wall. Now we got Putin. I mean, but for those of you who aren't students of World War II, we were actually allies with Russia during World War II. Why was that? Because we were not safer. Our alliances were strong with Russia. We were not safer because Hitler and Mussolini and the Japanese emperor were threatening the world, threatening the world's safety. So we allied with someone who we typically never had anything in common with in order to fight the greater evil. The reason why our alliances are stronger, the reason why NATO is more robust. How much time do you spend on the phone with your friend asking for help when everything in your life is fantastic and you aren't in any trouble and you don't need any help? Do you place regular phone calls to the people in your life? Hey, man, everything in my life is fantastic. I wonder if you could pray for me. No, you don't do that, do you? When everything in your life is lousy, or when one thing in your life is lousy, or when you were threatened on one front, that's when you call and ask for help. And that's when you need your alliances to be stronger. So the fact that these idiots say we are safer because our alliances are stronger, the second half of the sentence disproves the first half of the sentence. And anybody who looks back on history, not revisionist history, real actual history, can tell you that you need allies when you are in peril. And so the fact that we're now all palsy-wowsy with NATO and all these other places, we didn't need to be during the Trump era because we were not involved in any world conflict because there was no world conflict.
Sometimes this afternoon, little to no accumulation. It'll be a breeze. Today 20, partly cloudy, very cold night tonight, low down to 7. Clouds and sun, cold tomorrow, the high 21. Clouds and chilly on Thursday, a couple of flurries, breezy afternoon, high at 29. Partly sunny for Friday and the high at 39. For Saturday, cloudy rain or maybe a snow shower possible, the high Saturday at 39. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. I likes to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and thinks you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Attention American homeowners, you're under attack. Your home and equity could be vulnerable to cyber thieves. There's only one company that completely stops it. That company is Equity Protect. Equity Protect prevents any attempts to steal your home, equity, and ownership 24/7. Get your free risk report today by texting the word HOME to 94878. That's right, text the word HOME to 94878 to get your free risk report. Keep your equity and legacy safe with Equity Protect.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2, Retire Ready Ohio, with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services, investment advisory services that are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
Jennifer Horn here. Over 1 million babies are lost to abortion every year in the United States. Tragically, 70% of those women who had abortions report feeling coerced into aborting their baby. Through Compass Care's nationwide telecare platform, the pro-life community can now reach women anytime, anywhere. From the busy streets of New York City to the beaches of San Diego, a woman facing an unplanned pregnancy can be seen by a pro-life nurse in as little as 24 seconds. Compass Care transforms a woman's fear into confidence, helping her say no to abortion and yes to her baby. Help a woman save her baby at saveababy.us today and get a free ebook with a gift of any amount. Your gift of $47 to Compass Care provides care and support to a woman, saving her from the coercion and her baby from the abortion. Go to saveababy.us, saveababy.us.
What does a waterfall have to do with us? How do mountains relate to? How is anything like? What's the similarity between? And the answer is they are all parks, because the National Park Service isn't just about unspoiled nature. It's also about history, recreation, remembrance, and so many other things. Find out what a park can be to you at findyourpark.com.
Discount Shopping Club has good news for you. If you are in the market for a new furnace, which, you know, that's not typically good news, particularly when it's, what is it, like 11 degrees out there? It's really cold. But good news. How would you like to pay half instead of paying full price for that new furnace that you now need for your home because it's gotten cold and your old furnace has been working very hard and just gave up the ghost? If you have a 1,200 to 1,600 square foot home, you would originally pay $3,800 for a Temperature Pro efficient furnace to heat your home. But thanks to the Discount Shopping Club at 9890answer.com, which you can access by going to, guess where, 9890answer.com and clicking on shopping, you will not pay $3,800. You will pay $1,900. And then if you have a slightly larger home, 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, which I think is most of the homes in Central Ohio, in the older areas, well, you can get a furnace that was $4,000 now down to $2,000. All the descriptions from Temperature Pro Columbus are on the Discount Shopping Club page. Go to 9890answer.com and click shopping. By the way, on Joe Biden's contention on the border, I was, in case you missed it, I was saying Joe Biden, after leaving the White House, is going to go to the University of Pennsylvania and become the top professor in the revisionist history department. Because here he is on what really happened on the border while he was president. And I know y'all think that he lost or was about to lose the election and Kamala Harris actually lost it because of his immigration policies. But no, Joe actually yesterday set everybody straight on what happened on the border when he became president.
Secret Service agent. He's on the phone saying, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Make me look bad."
Trump made him look bad. Numbers on the border came way down when I became president. So I thought, I wonder if I could find anywhere. I wonder if any, like, look, I've been a reporter. I've had some success as a reporter. I was never in the White House press corps. But if I were in the White House press corps yesterday, and he said that, I would say, Mr. President, didn't you sign an executive order on your first day in office to end construction of the border wall? Mr. President, didn't you sign an executive order that reversed the travel ban on predominantly Muslim countries? Also on your first day in office? And Mr. President, didn't you revoke remain in Mexico and Title 42 and interior enforcement orders that allowed ICE to deport illegal aliens? Didn't you do all that? Of course, now, I might have imagined it because I am a conservative and Joe Biden is not. So I went to that arcane, largely unknown thing called Google, and I put in Joe Biden executive orders day 1. And here we go from CNN. Headline, Biden starts fast on immigration by halting border wall and travel ban while embracing DACA. DACA are the dreamers, as Obama called them, or as Bruce calls them, the children of illegal aliens who were born here and who the Democrats have been desperately trying to give citizenship to ever since. He did all that. He halted border wall construction. He reversed the travel ban on predominantly Muslim countries. He ramped down remain in Mexico. He ended Title 42. And he revoked Trump's 2017 executive order that made all undocumented immigrants a priority for arrest by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, saying that the Biden administration would, quote, reset the policies and practices for enforcing civil immigration laws to align enforcement with my values and priorities. There you go. Revisionist history. It's a class I would not take from Joe Biden. But you actually take it every single day if you are a subscriber to the Columbus Dispatch. I hold in my hand 2 stories. One is less objectionable than the other. But I question why the one that's less objectionable is a story at all. Headline, Ohio School Bible Program Lifewise raised $35 million, tripled profits last year. Now, is it my assumption that the Dispatch goes and surveys every single nonprofit in Columbus's IRS filing to see which one made the most money? No, it is my assumption that they targeted Lifewise, hoping to find something that they could write about like this that will leave 2 distinct impressions out there. First distinct impression will be shared entirely by those on the left. In other words, by those at the Columbus Dispatch. And that impression is, Lifewise Academy made money last year? Well, they're evil, and they must be doing something illegal. On the right, when I look at that and I see, wow, they raised $35 million and they made $17.2 million, yet no one there makes over $125,000. I look at it and I go, there's a ministry that God has prospered, that people have donated robustly to support it, because woke school boards like Westerville and Worthington are trying to cancel Lifewise, and God's people are rising up and responding to his call on their heart to support a program that educates kids in Bible instruction. That's what I see on the right. Now, that's the story that is the least objectionable. What is the most objectionable story? Well, it's an editorial from the Angry Bobcat, Amelia Robinson. Yes, boy, those people down there in Athens, you must be so proud of Amelia Robinson being an OU graduate. She's got the bully pulpit of the Columbus Dispatch's editorial page. And she starts her editorial with something that, if I ever had the bully pulpit of the Columbus Dispatch's editorial page. I would not start my editorial with wildfires raging in California, with a new president coming into office, with cabinet picks going before Congress. I would maybe tackle one of those weightier issues, or like here in Columbus, we had like 2 guys arrested in their 20s for murder last night. That's kind of a big deal. I think maybe you want to write about that. Maybe you want to write about the bicyclist who got hit and killed. Maybe you want to write about, I don't know, city government not functioning very well for poor citizens. No, Amelia Robinson just starts her editorial, a minor controversy surrounding a trio of so-called industry insiders and the H-Town hottie has me thinking about names and their meaning in our culture. A minor controversy. So you say right up front, you're writing about a minor controversy. Now, who is the so-called H-Town hottie? It is a black rapper or rhythm and blues artist or whatever. I don't know. She's a musician, theoretically. She's really a prostitute who has confessed before to drugging men, stealing their money before she became famous. Megan Thee Stallion. And Amelia Robinson is very upset because these 3 attractive, as she says, white women in their early 30s and late 20s were making fun of Megan Thee Stallion. Now, so this whole editorial is about defending the honor of Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, whose top song, let me see how I can talk about her top song without getting taken off the radio forever. Her top song is a song called WAP. And I don't want you to look it up. And I am uncomfortable giving you even one of the words in it. I mean, that's how vulgar and despicable and awful Megan Thee Stallion is. But Amelia Robinson is defending her because these 3 women are daring to make fun of her name. Because, everybody out there is walking around. How many people Thee Stallion do you know? And then at one point, Amelia Robinson says, when I was in the 3rd grade, a little white girl in my class spit on me from a school bus window and told me to go back to Africa with my African name, Amelia. I'm going to take things that never happened for 1,000, Alex.
Taxes or in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs?
Oh, Amelia, you're welcome to come on my show anytime. Bring your thesaurus for a battle of wits, because I don't think you're capable of fighting it.
Award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion with their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about